Hi guys, it's Brittany, and yes, I know I'm wearing a Santa hat, and I know Christmas is over, but I didn't get to do any Christmas videos last month because of moving and unpacking in Arizona, and because of that, that's why I didn't get to do any Christmas videos, as you may notice. But I thought, why not do at least one Christmas video just to make it up for last month? And I promise that I will do more fun and Christmassy videos of this year, of 2019. So I'm really looking forward to that, even though December is like 11 months away from now, but that's okay. I mean, at least for now, I'm only going to do at least one very, very late Christmas video just to make it up for last year of 2018. And today is going to be a movie fact video on the Christmas Carol, the 1951 version. And because yeah, there are a lot of versions of a Christmas Carol, and so this is the one I decided to do because the 1951 version is a really good version of A Christmas Carol of the story. And I like that version, and I know maybe some of you do. So here are the facts on this one, on the 1951 version of A Christmas Carol. One, both Alistair Sim as Scrooge and Michael Hordon as Marley reprised their roles in A Christmas Carol 1971, and Hordon appeared as Scrooge in A Christmas Carol 1977. Okay, so Alistair Sim, who played Scrooge in the 1951 version, he reprised his role as Scrooge again in the 1971 version, but that was actually a cartoon. But even Michael Hordon, who played Jacob Marley, he reprised his role as Jacob Marley again in the 1971 movie as well. But again, that one is a cartoon. And I know that because I looked it up on YouTube and I watched, I think, one part of the video of that cartoon of A Christmas Carol. And yes, they you can hear their voices through their characters, but this time cartoon characters. But that one I would have to say it's just a bit scary because well, you can go and see for yourself, but now with Jacob Marley, the cartoon and that one, when his jaw drops, it's really dropped and it's wide. It's not wide from here. It's wide from there, and it's just scary. And I remember I was actually scared and shocked. I'm like, oh my gosh! And I'm kind of glad I never saw that version when I was little, because if I did, that would have really scared me. But no. But Michael Horden, he appeared as Scrooge in A Christmas Carol in the 1977 one. So that is quite interesting. And let's say I didn't really know that they got to reprise the roles as Scrooge and Jacob Marley, but in the cartoon version of and that's the 1971 version of the story. So I didn't know that's quite interesting though. Two, although the word Scrooge means a stingy person now, in Charles Dickens' time the word was a slang term meaning to squeeze. That just sounds so wrong. It does. Oh boy. And see, that's another thing too. I didn't know that at that time that Scrooge meant well that, you know. But To be honest, I'm just glad that now that I think since when Charles Dickens maybe put the word screws, but gave it this whole new different meaning to it, meaning a stingy person. I'm just glad it means that instead of what it meant back then, because that is just so wrong, you know? I mean, don't want to go there. Three? Just three. No, I'm sorry. Just after Marley dies, the ghost of Christmas Past calls Scrooge a squeezing, wrenching, grasping, covetous old sinner, if I said that right. This is how Charles Dickens famously describes Scrooge in the novel. Oh, okay. You know, I never caught that. I mean, as many times I've watched that version of A Christmas Carol, I never really heard the Ghost of Christmas Past calling Scrooge that. So of course, when I did watch it last month, I had to put in the subtitles, you know, the words on. So when I did, I actually not only saw what he was saying, but I also heard him as well. I'm like, oh, okay, now I heard it. He was calling Scrooge that just when he was signing, what was it? He was signing something where that now he owns his friend's house and everything in it, you know, because his friend passed away. Four, in the film, Scrooge does not mention that every fool wishing a Merry Christmas should be boiled in his own pudding and buried with a stick of holly through his heart. Fred does not mention why Christmas is a good time of the year, nor does Scrooge threaten to sack Bob Cratchit while the two charity men arrive before Fred does. Yeah, no, I think because since this was probably in the book, that maybe this was probably mentioned in maybe other versions of A Christmas Carol, but these these certain things were not mentioned in this version, and why? I don't know, really. I have no idea, but I do know that this was mentioned in the 2009 version, the one with Jim Carrey. Yes, I love that version too. But yeah, so in case you haven't noticed, or you probably have, then yeah, that was those things were not put into the movie. I don't know why. I really don't. And it doesn't say why. It doesn't say because it would be too long or something. Five. Right after Scrooge is told that Marley is dying, he is seen in his office through the windowed door with the words "Mr. E. Scrooge" written on it. A molding casts a vertical shadow on the wall that lines up with the S in Scrooge, giving the impression of a dollar sign. I never noticed that. Okay, so I'll say okay, so that part can be seen in the movie um right after that Scrooge has been told that Marley is dying. So yeah, I mean, again, as many times as I seen it, I never noticed that either. But I think if I were watching it again, I would have to take a closer look because I never got to see that. Well, I never noticed that, so yeah, that's quite interesting. I think maybe with that being shown, it just somehow shows just how bitter and greedy that Scrooge was. So that's just what I think. That it was just like a symbol of his greediness and his bitterness in a way before he changed in the end. Six, in the novel, the spirit of Christmas past carries an extinguisher, a small funnel which was used to put out the candles. This was eliminated for the movie version, although the spirit of Christmas past does not appear more or less solid, depending on the scene, to correspond with the description in the book. Yeah, because actually, the Ghost of Christmas Past was not described as appear to be human, in human form of a spirit. Because the Ghost of Christmas Past was actually described a flame, like a flame that you see on a candle. Um, so yeah, because when this movie was done, of course had they did not have the technology to use to make the Ghost of Christmas Past look like a candle on a flame. No, sorry, a flame on a candle. What did I say? I'm so sorry. I said a candle on a flame. I'm so sorry about that. My mind is just not all there. Something else is just distracting my mind, which of course I don't need a distraction right now. Yes, I'm sorry, but yes, that's how the Ghost Christmas Past was described in the book was um a flame on a candle. But like I said, they did not have the technology back then to actually do that. But of course, you do get to see what the Ghost of Christmas Past will look like as a candle on the flame in the 2009 version. And believe me, it was done so well that it was quite impressive. Okay, seven. Michael Horton was not on set when the Marley's Ghost was filmed. He was added in later through the use of an optical printer. He only appears together when Alistair Sim and the two scenes at the end of the Christmas Past sequence, the latter of the two being the scene where Jacob Marley dies. This was also true of Michael Dolan, who played the spirit of Christmas Past. He never actually played any scenes on the set with Sim. So now that is actually quite interesting because when I read about this, when I was looking it up, and when they said that Michael Horton was never on the set with Alistair Sim to do, like to talk to his character Scrooge, and because they were on set together to do that scene, and that he was actually added in later, I was like, what? So, okay, so he was added in later through the use of an optical printer, and I looked that up. So, an optical printer is actually one of the movie cameras that they had at the time. And when I looked it up, it was big. Like, it was like this huge, really big camera. So, I think they were able to use that, like, for him to, um, I think for him to be alone and for him to say his dialogue and while filming through the optical printer, filming him through that and even through that, that's why they were able to make him look like a ghost like appearance. And I think that's why the scene turned out so well because yeah, you may think that they did the scene together, but they didn't. So that's actually quite interesting. Like how they did at the time and how this camera called an optical printer, and it was a camera, and I think they used it for certain things in movies at the time, but they also used it for that movie to make for Michael Horton's character to look like a ghost like appearance of his character of Jacob Marley. So that is just very impressive of how they did that at the time. 8. Alistair Sim's performance as Scrooge made David Jason a huge fan of the man. Jason considers Sim the definite Scrooge. And you know what? I would have to agree because um, I don't. I never really saw this movie when I was quite little, but I think I watched this one like probably when I was going to school, like middle school, like when I was probably like I don't know, maybe 13, 14. But yes, yeah, I'd say even now when I still watch it, I would have to agree that yeah, Alistair Sim is the definite Scrooge because his performance was just so really good. You know, it was just like so convincing that he just really makes you believe that he's just this greedy, bitter um character who is not happy or jolly and who doesn't have the Christmas spirit with him. So So of course he did like a really great job with his performance as Scrooge, and yeah, yeah, I think he did a really great job, and I don't know who else could have done a better job than he did. I mean, I'm pretty sure there are other actors who probably did a great job as Scrooge, but I think his performance was just really good. Like, okay, he's the definite Scrooge, you know. So yeah, I would have to agree. Okay, 9. The street in the scene where Scrooge meets the ghost of Christmas Future is the same street corner as earlier in the film when Scrooge is going home after having had his dinner and encounters the blind man with his dog. Fences have been added to make it appear to be a dead end street. Uh, okay, that is creepy. But yeah, I just want to say that even the way that the ghost of Christmas Future how it looks like, and the scary thing is that it doesn't look like a person, you know, because it has no face, you know. And in this version, like it's just covered in this black cloak, you know, even from here. And that's scary because you can't see the thing. But I will say this: there is one scene where Scrooge is with the Ghost of Christmas Future, and I think they're both staring, like they're outside, but they're staring, like they're looking into the window of a house. But if you look closely, you can actually see that there is a face um, underneath that, and that's quite scary. Because of course someone had to play that character, but of course the his face had to be covered. But if you look closely, you kind of see through that. You kind of see the black cloak where you can actually see there is a face underneath. But of course, even when I looked at it, I can't even see any facial features. But I do know that there is a person under there. But it just makes it creepy. But what also makes it creepy is that the ghost of Christmas Future looks like the Grim Reaper. And I think that if the Christmas, no, Christmas, where is my mind today? Yes, I think that if the ghost of Christmas Future is the Grim Reaper, you know, which represents death, then I think that's why maybe the Grim Reaper is in fact the ghost of Christmas Future. Um, you know, for the story. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm not sure if Charles Dickens actually confirmed that the Grim Reaper is in fact the ghost of Christmas future in the book. But if it is, then I would want to know because to me it just seems like that's just what it seems like. And here's the last one. 10. According to the Ghost of Christmas Past, Scrooge had been partners with Marley for 18 years. If Marley died in 1836, this meant the two first met in 1818. Plus, the ghost implies Scrooge showed very little remorse when Marley passed away, such as taking his house and fortune. Wow, that that is just messed up. So, so yeah, it just seems odd that okay, so if as it said that if they had like first met in 1818, then yeah, let's say considering they were business partners and friends for that long, and that Jacob Marley died in 1836, then yeah, it's like then after being business partners with him and after being friends for as long Jacob Marley have lived, then with Scrooge showing at least little remorse and doing what he did by taking his house and fortune, uh, that's not good. But I'm just glad that even both with the book and the movies of the versions of different versions of A Christmas Carol, I'm just glad that it does have a good ending where he really comes to realize the meaning of Christmas, and he also changes by becoming a better person of himself. And I'm just glad that has that good ending. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just a really good story to tell, and I think where it just reminds all of us, not to take anything for granted and not to become bitter or greedy or even self-centered because it's not good. And he was like that. He was greedy, bitter, and just self-centered, just thinking about himself and not anything else or anyone else. But he did change for the better at the end. So I'm glad that has a good ending like that. So, um, so yeah, you won't be seeing me wearing this Christmas hat until at least December of this year, which is 11 months. Yeah, 11 months for now, which of course, it feels like a long, long way. I mean, 11 months is still far, but so to me, it feels like, whew, so long. It's like, oh, okay. But like I said, I will be looking forward to do really fun and Christmassy videos to do this year of December, and I can't wait for that. But yes, I mean, other than that, way before we get ahead, before I get ahead of thinking of Christmas this year, let's just say there are other things I have in mind to do this year of the months to come. So I hope you enjoyed this, even though this was a very, very late Christmas video. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the interesting um, Christmas Carol facts. So that's all for today, and I'll see you at the movies.